Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first annual conference on Native American nutrition, from knowledge to practice, using indigenous wisdom and academic research to improve Native nutrition. I'm Lori Watso. I'm a member of the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community, and I serve as chairperson for our tribe's Seeds of Native Health campaign. This is such an amazing gathering, and I'm almost speechless looking out over this crowd. I was just telling Dean Burr, I'm so excited, I'm probably going to say some silly things here. I just can hardly contain myself. So I'm really not sure that I have the words to tell you how very happy I am to be here with you today, and I'm going to be your MC for the first part of this morning. On behalf of my community and all those who worked very, very hard to bring this gathering to fruition, we want you to know how honored we are that you have chosen to spend the next 2 days with us, and how very, very important your presence is here to us all. And so we say, Padamya, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. And now I'd like to ask you to stand for the procession of the Sisseton Wahpeton Kit Fox Society Honor Guard.
step forward. Who?
Thank you very much, Sisseton Wahpeton Kit Fox Society Honor Guard. And also a very special thank you to Mato Pejuta, our drum group. Thank you very much. Both of these groups of gentlemen are always here for us when we invite them and always help us to start things in a good way, and we really appreciate that. Thank you. And now we will move to a morning blessing. Our cultural director, our good friend and brother Leonard Wabasha, was going to provide the blessing this morning, but he's not very well today. He's on his way to see the doctor. So we have asked Justin Hinneman, citizen of the Navajo Nation, also president and CEO of the Notah III Foundation, to join us and provide a blessing.
Shadon Ashley, and as a Kachini, although Bishpichai, Bush's chin, come behind this at Che, Belegana Edish and Nella. I want to say a few things before I begin. I want to first acknowledge Dakwana and Sisseton, Wahpeton, Color Guard, and the Mato Pejuta drum group here this morning with that beautiful grand entry, and you heard the flag song and the victory song. And if that didn't wake you up this morning, I don't know what will. And I was standing here, and man, my heart just gets going, and I almost wanted to dance right up here. It's a beautiful morning. I want to also acknowledge Leonard Wabasha, who's one of the cultural resources here for the tribe. And, you know, like Doc and these young gentlemen here, and even Leonard, no matter the situation or whatever it is, when they are asked to do something, they're there. They're there. And so this morning, you know, I know Leonard would be here if he was feeling better. And that Wabasha name here in this community, that's a very, you know, that Chief Wabasha, there's a whole history and a language there that goes way back on the land here. And so I want to acknowledge, I'm Navajo. And I'm standing on Dakota land. Not just here in Shakopee here, but all of Minneapolis, the whole Twin Cities are standing, and we're on Dakota land here. And I also want to acknowledge our Anishinaabe relatives to the north, because I know there's many people from all over who came here this morning. I want to particularly acknowledge the fact that here we're on the Mississippi and the Minnesota River. They come together. There's a confluence. And that is where the Dakota people acknowledge their creation comes from that confluence. And why it's important, why I want to say this morning, is that's where what? Two waters come together. And so this morning I want us to think about the fact that we have warriors right now, protectors fighting for our water. Whether it's in Standing Rock or wherever they may be, right now I know many of you stand with those who are protecting our water. We cannot have a nutrition conference without water. We cannot fight diabetes without water. There's no such thing as fighting all of this without our water. And I think it's just interesting. This morning when I thought about, when they asked me to do this, I was thinking about when I learned about the creation story of the Dakota people and that confluence of where the waters come together. We are in Minnesota, Mine, Shota, and there's different definitions, but clouds that reflect in the water or cloudy water, but again, what's in there? Water. And so water is so critical. And so I thought of what to say this morning, but I just want to start with a little prayer song. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't sound as good as these brothers here. but we come from different ways, different tribes. So you pray in your own heart, pray in your own way. But I hope that we could come together in mind, spirit, and body, acknowledging that water is central to life, no matter what. But particularly, water is important to this idea of nutrition, health, wellness, and balance. And that we pray wherever we're from for the quality of water for every one of us. So I thank you that you came here this morning, and I'll just start this way.
Thank you, Justin, so very much for your thoughtful words, your beautiful prayer song. We're so very, very fortunate to be able to start our gatherings in this way, such a good way. So thank you very much. We're going to have breakfast now. You can sit, finally. And then I want to let you know that during this conference, we really are encouraging you to use your social media stuff. Tweeting and Facebooking are encouraged. Please use hashtag nutrition16 so that you can interact with fellow participants and those who were not able to join us today. So enjoy your breakfast, and after breakfast, we'll have some words from President Kaler from the University of Minnesota. Thank you. At this time, I'm very pleased to introduce the President of the University of Minnesota, Eric Kaler. The University of Minnesota has been a longtime partner of our tribe, and President Kaler has been an enthusiastic supporter since the beginning of his tenure in 2011. His efforts to build closer relationships with the Native communities across the state is making a true difference in our lives. It's my great pleasure to present to you President Eric Kaler.
Thank you, Lori, and good morning, everyone. Welcome. On behalf of the entire University of Minnesota community, I have a great pleasure in welcoming you to the first annual Conference on Native American Nutrition. We're honored to be collaborating with and be presenting sponsors with the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community on this historic and extraordinary conference. Thank you to the Shakopee community for your continued generosity and partnership with the University of Minnesota. Thank you, of course, to Chairman Charlie Vig and former SMSC Secretary Treasurer Lori Watso for their visionary leadership of the Seeds of Native Health initiative. Thank you also. That is a good round of applause. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, too, to our professor, Mindy Kurser, the director of our Healthy Foods, Healthy Lives Institute, and her entire organizing committee for developing such a remarkable agenda in this, our first collaborative conference on the pressing topic of Native American nutrition. Through this work and our partnership with the Shakopee community, the University of Minnesota continues our commitment and our actions to learn how to work more effectively with the sovereign Native nations of Minnesota. And with that in mind, I'm very much aware that the University of Minnesota hasn't always served our Native American communities well. This initiative and others we've partnered on in recent years, from the SMSC Scholarship Program to our sponsorship of Wild Rice Symposia and collaboration with the Anishinaabe tribes, demonstrate that we are committed to changing that history. And as Minnesota's only land-grant institution, we understand our special responsibility to create relationships that respect the sovereignty and the cultural resources of Native American communities today and for generations to come. As president of the university, I am committed to providing the resources of this university to aid in our continued growth together. This conference is a perfect example of how academic research and the remarkable work of our faculty can be used to complement indigenous knowledge. And that's a great combination, research and wisdom. Hopefully, by bringing together these two ways of knowing with mutual respect and reciprocity, we will preserve the best of both. And in doing so, I know we will create something greater than either system can do on its own. We can build important bridges. Now, you should know that at the University of Minnesota, our curriculum and our research emphasis is on tackling and solving some of the state's and world's grand challenges. And it's no coincidence that among those challenges are solving the problem of hunger, working to bring safe and healthy food, human rights, and ending disparities of all kinds, economic, educational, and in health. Now, some of our deans from the university are here today, and they represent our devotion to solving such grand challenges. They include the dean of our College of Food, Agriculture, and Natural Resource Sciences, Brian Boer, our dean of Public Health, John Finnegan, and our dean of Pharmacy, Marilyn Speedy. Would you please stand and be recognized by the audience, please? Thank you for being here today. Now, as you can see in your program, nearly a dozen of our colleges, departments, and units are supporting this conference. The university is committed in our outreach mission to reciprocal engagement. And that's why this conference and our partnership and work with the Shakopee community align so perfectly with our mission and our vision for the university, for our state, and for our relationships with tribal partners. So in closing, there's much to be done to support the health needs of Indigenous people across this country and beyond. And this conference is just one example of the important, strong, and ever-evolving relationship between the University of Minnesota and the original peoples of America. As president of the University of Minnesota, I look forward to deepening our commitment to a shared agenda that is tribally led and that meets the needs of tribal nations. We're committed to continue our learning and to build towards a more respectful, honest collaboration related to Native American nutrition, as well as other issues that deeply affect Native American communities. We know that this meeting today around healthcare challenges that are sensitive to nutrition and diet-related impacts will be best served by a collaborative process. And we know the best course is to bridge traditional and Western scientific approaches. We must build bridges to solve our grand challenges, and we are all here today advancing that work in earnest and, very importantly, doing it together. Thank you again to the Shakopee community. I look forward to the outcomes and the next steps from this first annual conference on Native American nutrition. Thank you to all of you for coming from far and wide to contribute to this effort. We at the University of Minnesota are proud to be part of what we do today and into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, President Kaler. It was so wonderful to have you standing with us when we publicly announced Seeds of Native Health 18 months ago. And very good to have you again with us today. Thank you. So now I want to say a few words on behalf of our Business Council to officially welcome you to this conference. Our Secretary-Treasurer, Freedom Brewer, wished that she could be here today in person with you, but she was called away this morning due to a family emergency, so we keep her and her family in our thoughts. Our Chairman, Charlie Vig, and our Vice Chairman, Keith Anderson, are attending President Obama's final Tribal Nations Conference today in Washington, so they're not able to be here with us either. But all of them, all of our Business Council members have asked me to extend their greetings and a very warm welcome to you. Over the last decade, the Shakopee Mdewakanton have been working to improve our own members' wellness and access to healthy food. And over that time, and even prior, we came to learn how very serious and widespread the dietary health and food access crises are in Native country. Early last year, our tribe launched a major effort to support the Native grassroots movement around food and health. This effort, Seeds of Native Health, has been a 2-year, $5 million campaign to improve Native nutrition. It has involved our tribe partnering with First Nations Development Institute, the Notabegay III Foundation, the American Heart Association, the Indigenous Food and Agricultural Initiative, and many others, many Native and non-Native organizations. We're so very fortunate to have all of these wonderful partners. And representatives from these organizations are here today, and I welcome all of you. But we're especially thankful for our partnership with the University of Minnesota. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. We've been very glad that Seeds of Native Health has been able to contribute to the improvement of people's lives in Indian country. And soon we will make an announcement about our future plans for this campaign. So stay tuned. But in the meantime, it should be said that this conference is the culmination of the first phase of our work. When planning began for this conference 10 months ago, we could not have anticipated, I could not have dreamed of this outpouring of interest. This is so magnificent. This morning, we have participants from 32 states, 5 countries, and dozens of tribes. Thank you so much for your affirmation of this important gathering. The nutritional health crisis in Native country requires collaboration among Native and non-Native leaders, activists, practitioners, and scientists. This conference creates an opportunity to collaborate and bridge the gulf, which too long has existed between Indigenous and academic knowledge. We hope that the ideas you share and learn during this conference will inspire you in your work. And we hope that the relationships that you start or strengthen here will continue as we work together to make Native communities healthier and stronger.